All right.
That
Hi.
is quite a beard, Bill.
Yeah, you
That
like
is quite a handsome beard.
Thank you very much. It's finally uh Carol, I'll make your announcement here in just a minute as well. But guys, welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. Today is Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. This is our first TNT of the new year. Also the first back after a couple weeks being off. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of notarycoach.com and author of the Sign and Thrive, How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary and Loan Signing Agent book. I'm here with my fabulous co-hosts, Carol Ray, founder of Notary to Pro. Carol, thank you so much for being here, especially because today is your birthday. Happy birthday. We really love having you here.
Thank you. And thank you to all the well wishes I've gotten this morning. I appreciate it.
I'm sure your phone has been blowing up all day long.
It was a shock because it just dawned on me like 2 weeks ago that I'm just 2 years from being 80.
Amazing.
Hard to imagine, right? Well, thank you for being here, even on your birthday. And I know my my internet's unstable, guys. So if you lose me, I'll come back. Our second co-host is Laura Buer. Hi, Laura, founder of CoachMeLaura.com. I'm gonna let you unmute there.
I'll unmute.
How's it going, Laura?
Welcome back. Great. Good new year. Lots of things learned from 2020, trying out new things for 2021.
Awesome. I feel like there's a lot of optimism around 2021 right now, so I can't wait to see where you go. Anything in particular you're excited about?
Working on some new coursework, working on some new ideas about how to organize what I do, because I do so many different things. I got to figure out what can stay and what can go.
Yeah, awesome. And Carol, I want to throw it back to you as well. Do you have anything that you are really excited about today?
A couple of really great things are happening. We're having a pad laid for our brand new home that we're getting next week. And also because my girls, Barbara especially, have taken so much of the work of Notary to Pro off of my shoulders. I'm getting to spend my days mentoring my students, which is what I love. It's my passion. And to have that time to just devote to that has been extraordinary for me. So I'm very excited about that.
Awesome. Congratulations. I know that's the best part of this is being able to connect and to coach. And so I'm glad you get more of those opportunities. We have lots of questions already, so let's go ahead and jump in. Just a quick reminder, guys, please leave yourself on mute until you're actually called upon. And then when you get an opportunity to speak, tell us what state you're in. Tell us what your question is. You don't have to give us a whole lot of backstory just yet. If we need some more information, we'll definitely dive in a little bit deeper. We just want to try to get to as many questions as we possibly can. And then because it is Carol's birthday, I love all the chat blowing up with the happy birthdays. If Carol has made a particular impact on your life and your business, and you can somehow summarize it in your chat window, I'm going to save this chat and send it over to her so she can take a look at those after the call too. So please feel free to share your stories about Carol inside the chat window. And let's get started. So Alicia Jones, already we know from Pennsylvania, thank you so much for being here. How can we help you today?
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
New year.
Team Titans. I have kind of like a 3-part question.
Okay.
So the first thing is when I'm doing a VOA and there's no venue, that always bothers me. I don't know if it's necessary, but it's just something that little nicks at me. Also, filling out a disbursement form when the borrower is actually paying. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Let's just do one question at a time though, okay? Because there's
Okay.
I'll remember it.
Okay.
So your first question was about a VOA.
Right. So the sworn affirmation sworn to when there's no venue. So it doesn't have the state and county information on the actual statement. It just says sworn to or affirmed, and then you sign.
Perfect. And the fact that it's not there troubles you. So Laura, do you mind jumping in on this one?
Sure. So that's called the venue. And the venue for most states, for almost all notarial acts, require a venue, which is where is the notary when they're performing it. So if it's not there and you have a little white space above sworn, subscribed and sworn, just print it in, state of whatever it is, Pennsylvania, county of whatever it is. And you can do it next to each other this way, or you can stack it. But there's nothing wrong when hand printing it in above. Do not leave it blank. Make sure that you either do that or replace it.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Thank you.
Good catch, Alicia. What's your second question?
So the disbursement form, when a borrower is paying, sometimes like, why am I filling out this disbursement form? They have to pay. So is it really necessary? And then the second thing of the two part for that is the Notarial Act is on a second page all by itself. And sometimes I get a lot of forms where the Notarial Act is on a second page by itself. And that kind of bothers me also. So that's those two-part question right there.
All right, excellent. Let's talk about the first half of it first. So you're asking about the proceeds disbursement form, why they have to fill it out if they are not expecting any funds back. Is that correct?
Right.
All right, excellent. So the first thing I want to say about this first is that our job as the loan signing agent isn't necessarily to understand the logic behind why a document might be included in the loan package. Our job is to gather the signatures on the document. Now, that said, I know it helps if we have something to say to help facilitate that. So here's how I usually address it. Is I tell them that a lot of these, the numbers that are involved might change a little bit depending on the actual funding date. So if it funds a day later, there might be a little bit of refund, or a day earlier, depending on interest and things like that. They just like to be proactive so they don't have to send another notary out for those funds. That usually clears it up right there. Carol, Laura, do you have other ways that you handle these?
Go ahead, Laura. Is she done it? No.
She's on mute. She may have stepped away. Is that pretty much how you would handle it, Carol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then as far as the notarial certificate on a separate page, we run into that all the time. This can be state specific. So you might have a state like California. I'll let Laura speak to this specifically in California, where they require, what document it's going for and how many pages there were, or something along those lines. But you can also, Laura, handwrite or replace the certificate with the title of the document it accompanies. Correct? Laura, do you want to expand on that at all?
Yeah. So it's not required in California to indicate the document it belongs to. That's an optional section if you happen to be using the NNA certificate, although it's a great idea when you're not able to staple documents so that they don't take it and use it for something else. And just so happens that just before I got on this call, one of my students called me and said he had a call from a signing service. He had a deed of trust and 2 grant deeds. He happened to scan the documents. They didn't need the scan, but he hadn't gotten rid of it yet. They said, oh, by the way, we're missing an acknowledgement. We need one for one of these grant deeds. He went back and looked at his scan, and he had acknowledgements for both grant deeds as well as the deed of trust. Somehow what happened was the deed of trust acknowledgement got lost, damaged, something happened. They took the one from one of the grant deeds, put it with the deed of trust, and now they've got a grant deed that's missing an acknowledgement, and now that's what they want. So you see how important it is that we label those loose certificates, because we don't staple them. And if we don't say what it belongs to, they could just put it with any document.
Yeah.
So it's even though it's not required by law, oh my God, it's the best way to protect you and your signer.
So you could just write attached to the disbursement form or whatever, the compliance agreement or anything. You could just write on it.
Absolutely. I would write it right on the bottom. Now, I don't do that when it's number 5, page 5 of 5 pages, and it's part of their document. But when I'm adding my own Now I'm going to take the time to do that, and I do it 100% of the time.
Oh, okay. All right. That's great. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Alicia. All right, Kristen, great to see you again. How's it going today?
Good, I'm back. I didn't want to ask you any questions earlier. Happy birthday, Carol. Fun fact, my mother's 78th birthday was yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So 2 questions. I don't know if this is a rumor or not. Can I use the Modern Journal in California?
Laura, do you want, or Carol?
I'll unmute. Yes, the answer is yes. You can use any journal actually, as long as it complies with the recording requirements for our state. So the Modern Journal, if it has an A and a J rather than the word acknowledgement or jurat, just circle it as a placeholder, but you got to write it in, and you've got to get a thumbprint every time. And so all you have to do is make modifications, and you can only do 1 document per line entry per signer. So as long as you maintain California compliance and you can make that work for you with the Modern Journal, then the answer is yes. But you may not use it in the way it was intended for signing agents in our state.
Bill, I'd like to add something of interest to probably a few people on this call, if
Sure.
I may.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I had a graduate who was doing a lot of work with AmRock. He was making about $2,000 a week just off of AmRock, supporting his family. And he called me one day. He was absolutely devastated because out of the blue, all of a sudden, AmRock said, we will not be assigning you any more signings because he was using an electronic journal, and the AmRock does not allow that. He never heard that. They never told him that. I've had other students that have told me the same thing, that they've never been told. They cut him off completely and never hired him again. And he's had to work his way back up to earning a living again because he was so dependent on AmRock. So for any of those of you who take signings from AmRock, please do not use an electronic journal.
Wow, great. That's very good to know as well.
Wow.
Thank you. Kristen, follow up?
Yeah, a second one. I was thinking about doing standard mileage versus actual expenses, and wouldn't that lever matter on how many signings you're doing, like on the volume?
I'm not sure I understand.
I'm not sure I understand your question. Are you talking about when you go to do your write-off when you file taxes?
Correct, for your
So
car?
you have to make that decision when the first year you're using that car. And so that's what I did with my tax accountant, is I looked to see what my usage was. And it was, for me personally, it was better to use actual expenses because I used my car about 75% for business. So that was adding up to a lot more money than the mileage. So that's how I do it. But I asked my tax accountant which way, because once you have the car set up that way, then you can't next year say, well, I'll do mileage this year. Typically,
Right.
You've got to set up the car, and that's how you do it for the life of the car until you start a new car.
That's
Cool.
interesting. And my experience has been different, the flat mileage, but mine was, I was driving 6,000 miles a month. So
Yeah.
that
It's
worked.
a lot of work from the aspect of the actual expenses, from what I hear. I mean, if you do your own taxes, which I like to do.
But either way, you have to track your miles. I mean, just because I don't use the mileage doesn't mean I'm not required by the IRS to track my business usage of my car. I have to still track all my mileage. So I'm not changing my workload at all. It's just at the end, I'm dependent on the receipts I've provided for the actual use because it comes out to more than what my mileage is.
Got it. Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Kristen. And guys, just a reminder,
Can I add a comment? I'm sorry. May I add a comment?
Yeah.
If you actually use a program like Notary Gadget, and there's another one, they'll actually add all your mileage up to that. So that way you don't have to worry about trying to log it every day that you're out there doing notarizations. That's all.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Carmen. Notary Assist, Notary Gadget. or
Actually,
whatever you
it's
forgot.
JJ.
Oh,
Sorry. I don't know why it popped up Carmen. My name's actually JJ.
Today you're
Nice to meet
Carmen,
you.
JJ. All right, thank you. Thanks for chiming in.
Yes, today I'm Carmen JJ.
Thank you. Okay, and then just as a reminder, guys, I don't multitask well, so I see a lot of direct messages coming in. I'd love to be able to talk with you, but I can't give the attention to our guests and type in there. So if you'd like to follow up with me personally, please do so. If you'd like to get a question answered, just raise your hand here. Thank you. Wendy P. in Florida. How's it going, Wendy?
It's going great. Thank you. So I'm in Florida. I have a seller's package. The property is in Indiana. And for those of you in the know, which I was not up until a few days ago, there is that new rule in Indiana that witnesses are needed for deeds and I guess certain affidavits. And there is, I guess what you would call it is witness certification. So in the package, there is the signer, John. John signs, I notarize, fine. The next page has the witness signature and they print it, fine, there was a witness. Then there's a notarial block and I have it up on my screen that I can read to you, but it's basically, from what I understand, witness proofing or witness certification, where it says, I'm not going to read the whole thing because there's a lot, but it says, before me, a notary public, appeared this witness who did depose and say that they know John, etc. So it's, yeah, so I think you know where I'm going. I'm in Florida. Witness certification is not in my list of approved acts. It's not a jurat. It's not a, yeah, I just reach out to the experts and say, what Bill is smiling right now. So I'm gonna be quiet and you guys let me know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Laura, do you want to jump in on that one?
Oh, I thought you were going to jump in. You were smiling.
Yeah, I'm just excited.
He's just excited. Well, let me make sure that I got some of the facts correct, because I know you were in Florida, but it was an Indiana property. Did I hear that?
Yes.
So in Indiana, because of a law issue, which hopefully they'll correct, it required an acknowledgement and a proof.
Yes.
It's called a proof. A proof is a notarial act. You do have that in Florida. It's a different notarial act. It's instead of an acknowledgement, but in their case, unfortunately, the law accidentally said and instead of or. So they're asking you to acknowledge the signer's signature. That's the first part. Then you need to have somebody who's there that knows him that says he signed it. And that certificate is a proof of execution certificate. That's what that's for. And you're notarizing for that person. So the name of that act is proof of execution.
Okay.
And it is a notarial act. And it typically is used when you don't have a signer and you need somebody else to say that the signer signed. That's usually why it's used. Indiana had a recent turn of events where somebody made a typographical error in the law because it said acknowledgement or proof would be acceptable. And they accidentally put and instead of or. So until they fix it, they need to have the signer acknowledge and then the proof is done with the witness. So that means you had to have another person there. You can't be that witness because you're going to be the notary.
Right.
So that person is there and you're going to fill that out. And in your journal, if you're journaling, you're going to put proof is the notarial act.
Really? I'll be upfront and say that this caused me so much concern that I called the NNA.
Yeah.
And they each three people said, and I didn't call them one after the other. I kept looking at it, going back to title, and I was so, anyway, they all said, no, that's not in your list of approved Florida.
All right, let me just check that Florida, the proof. That's what it is. I mean, that is what it is. Did they recognize that's what it is? They were just telling you that it's not one of your notarial acts. So let me look. for Florida, because there could be a couple states that don't use it. I did not think Florida was one. Okay, authorized acts. Unauthorized acts. Inventorying duress searches. All right, so I don't see the proof listed for Florida in the, I'm just looking at the,
Right, which is, I have my handbook.
Yeah.
And it,
so let me just say that the NNA hotline then did their job. They recognized what it was. It wasn't on the list. So you can't do that. So then when I can't do it, because this happens to me for signature witnessing, which is not on my list of authorized acts, you have to reach back out to your hiring company and say, I'm not able to perform this in my state. What would you like me to do? The problem's going to be is that I think they're going to have a recording issue. That's the problem. Yeah, they're going to have a recording issue because they need that other document in order to record it. Now that's their issue. That's not your issue. They'll have to figure that out. There's nothing more for you to figure out. Okay. You've identified what it is. You know you can't do it. You're communicating that you can't do this. You can do that, but you can't do this.
So every other document in the package, and it was substantial, is fine. I did the regular acknowledgement of the signer. That's appropriate. The witness signed, which is, it says a witness. Right. After he signed, the only piece I'm foregoing is that proof piece.
Right. And that is something that they'll have to figure out for recording purposes. They're not going to get it done in Florida. They may have to get that piece done in another state. I don't know how they're going to fix it, but it isn't going to happen with you. And you've done the rest of it. There's nothing more for you to do, right? Except to let them know, and they'll have to figure out how they're going to deal with it. Okay.
I just want to make sure I wasn't saying I couldn't when I could. And I am so thrilled that it was Tuesday and you guys are here. And I just want to say happy birthday, Carol, but I appreciate the three of you so much, whether it's books or videos or the symposium, you just drop knowledge. And I just want to say it's appreciated. So thank you.
You're so welcome, Wendy. And for the rest of everybody on the call, in your state, most states have something called a proof. It's not something done very often. So you might want to check your own statutes, your own handbooks, and look to see if that's a notarial act that is allowed in your state. Like I said, most of them do allow for it. And California has it as well. But we've got a lot of restrictions on ours. And one of them is no documents with thumbprints. So that means no real estate documents, no loan signings. So it wouldn't happen for us at all in a loan signing package.
Right.
Okay.
Great question. Great question. Apollonia.
That was advanced notary work.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah.
Apollonia, thanks for being here. How can we help? You're in Illinois. Welcome. How can we help?
Hi, Ben. Hi, Laura, and happy birthday, Carol. Thank you so much for taking my question. So today, my question is for Carol. Carol, I had a signing where on the had two signers, but on the notarial certificate, I only had one signer's name listed. So I'm going to tell you what I did. And then my question is, what should I do, or what should I do when I come across that? What I did was I notarized the certificate that was attached to the document. And then I attached a loose cert for the second signer of that document. It was actually two documents in the package that same way. And I thought I did it because, to be on the safe side, I should include the loose cert because there were two signatures on the document. And my question to you is, did I do that right? And how should that be done?
Well, let me say it wasn't wrong to do.
Okay.
But if there's room, all you need to do is add the second signer to your certificate. Okay. And notarize the both of them. They were both in front of you at the same time.
Yes.
That's you can do that. But you didn't do wrong by attaching a certificate. You just caused yourself an extra, a little bit of work. The only problem there is if it's a recordable document, some of the county recorders will charge the issuing party for that extra page to record it. So we
Got it.
need to keep that in mind.
Okay, perfect. Sure will do. So is the rule of thumb, would you say, is to add the name to the certificate if it is not pre-printed there already?
Yes, if you're notarizing both signatures and if there's room in the certificate to, you know, print that in, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Great question. Thank you, Apollonia. Kimberly Nunnally, great to see you here. How can we help today?
Hi, I wanted to thank you all for everything. Bill, I did your master series, and then Laura did the Laura Viewer Presents, and now I'm ready to do part of Carol's program.
All right.
So my question is for Carol. It's just a couple, but you probably could just sum it up about the husband and wife, because my husband will be joining me. Will we both get a certificate if we pass all of your training?
Oh yeah, of course. You work independently. Even though you get that discount, you're still independent. You work independently. You both will take the tests on your own, and you'll both get your own certification.
Okay, and then how long does that program take? I just looked at the titles, but about how long do you estimate it time-wise?
You know, it's actually the courses themselves are only about 12 or 13 hours, but most people have to go through it 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
And of course, we've got all the resources. So you've got 3 months in there.
Okay, and then the last question is about oh, I can't read my own writing. Oh, I can't read that. I'm so sorry. Well, I cannot read my writing on the last one, but that answers most of my questions about the program. Thank you. Oh, I know what it is. I'm seeing it now. Sorry about that. As far as your program is concerned, do we get everything, or is that reverse mortgage a separate training?
Everything is included, and the graduates website is free and there for as long as we're in business, with all the resources and libraries and everything.
Okay, thank you all for what you do. I really appreciate it. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Kimberly.
Thank you.
Juanita, great to see you on here. Juanita, what state are you in and how can we help? Juanita, don't forget to unmute. Juanita going once.
Bill?
Yes.
If she
No,
doesn't
I'm here.
speak.
I'm here.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
It was like my bar at the bottom wouldn't allow me to scroll up and hit the unmute button.
No problem.
So my question was, hello, everyone. Great information that I heard so far. My name is Juanita Howard, and I'm from New Jersey. And I'm just starting out. I just was approved. I'm a notary now for New Jersey. I'm just basically waiting for my seal and stamp to come in. I was sworn in last week.
Right.
So I'm just trying to get the gist of, I would like to become a signing agent and to earn extra income to, you know, add on to what I already, you know, make in my current job. But I'm just not sure how to get started. How do you get to sign on with companies when you're new like this? Is there certifications that you need to do in addition to the fact that I just became a notary? So I'm looking for guidance in that area because I'm very new at this.
Awesome. Well, welcome here and congratulations on taking the first step towards your new business. I love it.
Thank you.
Why don't we, Carol, do you want to chat a little bit about what a next step would be for you? And then we'll go to Laura and then I'll close it out.
Well, I don't want this to sound like a sales call. I mean, you know what I mean? We teach people from the very beginning with Notary to Pro. I don't go into a lot about what comes after you have been trained. We do have a lot of resources, but we are quite well known now in the country, and we have a lot of companies who are hiring our graduates right out of the gate without any experience at all. So we are a resource. I would say do your research though, because what fits for one person may not fit for another. There's some people out there that are much more energetic, and there's other people that don't know what they're talking about that will take a lot of money from you. Do your research. Bill is wonderful. He's got a great program. He really will get you in marketing and growing your business. Laura is absolutely fabulous at all of the general notary work and the specialty work that she does. The three of us are a great combination. And we love doing this. We love this industry. It's a passion. I've been passionate about this industry and had my courses for almost 12 years now. And we've made an impact, I think, in this country. I'd like to think we have. So just do your research, talk to people, go onto Facebook groups, see what they have to say.
Yeah, great.
That's
Thank
my
you.
advice.
Love it. Laura, what do you have to say about somebody just starting out?
Two things. One, just to edify what Carol said, there is some fabulous training that you're going to find, but it's not just how good the training is, it's what kind of a fit is it for your learning style and what you're wanting to do. So that's the first thing I want to say. Second thing is, I do not certify anybody in loan signing work, but I do offer a class called At the Table, and that's for people already certified who are new usually, or they haven't been doing it very long, and they want to polish their presentation skills. And so my class is a one-time 2-hour live call, and I take you from when you say yes to the hiring company all the way to invoicing. And I spend half of that time when you're at the table, how to simultaneously do the work, meaning journaling, certificates, introducing documents, navigating documents. It's a lot of different things happening. And that's a skill in and of itself. And so that's what I do, is I work with people so they're more efficient with their time while being compliant and being safe during, still we have the pandemic, doing this 6 feet away from your signer to make sure everything gets done. So I have a lot of great tricks and tips on how to do that. And that's what I do.
I love it, Laura.
Bill?
Thank you. So for me, I like to take big ideas or concepts or challenges and break them into smaller pieces. So Juanita, hopefully this will kind of lay this out, because Carol and Laura touched a lot on all the training that could possibly come up for you. So the way I lay it out is a 5-phase system. Phase 1, you become a notary public in your state, which you've already done. So congratulations on that. In phase 2, this is where you get the NNA certification. It's a lot easier than it might sound in that, but that's where you might get errors and omissions insurance. That's where you're going to pass the test, kind of get the basic feel for how the overall industry works. And in phase 3, that's where you learn processes, documents, and etiquette. That's where you're going to learn script for the documents, what to expect, how to confirm, where to park your car, all that good stuff, the day-to-day stuff. And then in phase 4, this is my favorite phase. That's where you grow relationships and build your business. A lot of that is personal development, because you have to grow into a business person, an entrepreneur. For some of us, this was our first business. So you got to learn how to do that. You got to learn how to connect and stay in touch and cultivate relationships that keep that phone ringing and dinging. And then in phase 5, that's when you manage your day-to-day business. That's like we talked earlier, Notary Assist, Notary Gadget. It's all the different apps, all the little things you can do to keep yourself efficient throughout the day so you can stay on top of your business. That's in an overview of how this entire business will work for you. If it's helpful to get into more detail, I have a free report on my website, just notarycoach.com. It goes into detail on all those different phases. Plus, I laid out my Sign and Thrive book the exact same way. So if that's helpful too, if you like to read, you can kind of get a feel for what all those different sections are. And then go with Carol and Laura nailed it. There is lots of training out there now. There didn't used to be. There is a lot more options for you. Find the trainer that resonates with you, because you're going to be spending a lot of time hearing their voice. It's going to be in the car. You're going to hear it in the shower. You're going to hear it in front of your computer in the middle of the night. So choose somebody that just rings true with what you're trying to create in your life. And you do have 3 amazing options right here, plus even more that might tap into what you're trying to create out there. So does that help at all, Juanita?
Yes, it does. So my final question would be, I think I listened to one of your webinars on YouTube. Now I have to go back and look at my email. Now with the NNA certification, I did sign up to take that, but I'm trying to figure out, I have to go back now. I thought I did it through a link through something that I listened to of yours. And I think I paid like $69 or something. And I supposed to get like a code that they supposed to send me to take the NNA certification. I have to go back and look at it because now I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't,
So,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, but
I was
this is
gonna
right up
say-
your alley, Laura, go for it.
So if you purchase the NNA certification test, which is, I think, $70 right now.
Yes.
Okay, so what happens is you'll get a link. The link goes to the training center. So you can even just go into their training center. You don't necessarily have to have that link. When you go into the training center, then that's where you're going to find the test. That'll be set up for you. And you take your exam. The other thing would be another link, and that link is for the background screening. So two different. And if you can't find that email from the NNA for the background screen link, just call them back, call customer service and say, I can't find the link. I need to do the background screening, and they'll resend it to you.
Okay, because yeah, I did it over the weekend. I did it last Friday, but I haven't even got an email. So I'm like, okay, where's my email at? I didn't get anything yet.
Well, over the weekend, they're closed, so they didn't do anything until
Right.
Monday.
So I'm thinking by like Monday or today, I should have had something, but I haven't received anything.
So call them.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
call, you bought it from NNA, have NNA help you. Call
Okay.
customer support and have them tell you what you need to do to access the test and the background screen.
Okay, so that covers what Dan said about phase 1, phase 2. Okay.
Yep.
And in this chat, will you guys put your contact information like Carol, Laura, Dan? Is your contact information going to be in like the chat that's going on right now for contact information?
If we'd like to, yes, you have all of our domains though. All of our information is on a hub for each other. CoachMeLaura.com, NotaryToPro.com, NotaryCoach.com, and we'll add
Okay,
those in the chat.
NotaryCoach.com. All of you
Yeah.
guys are okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
I got that.
Definitely easy to find us for sure.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. And I just want to follow up too on what Laura had mentioned with the NNA, because I've been helping some people through this. I think internet service providers have increased their spam controls because there's a lot of emails that are not going through. So you may not have received it and it might be sitting in a spam folder or just blocked completely from your email. So don't be afraid to follow up via phone if you're not. NNA has great customer service when you give them a call. I've had to do this 3 times where with 3 new students that they didn't have access to it. It wasn't even showed up in their account. So we had to call in. But they are very friendly and very efficient when they walk us through.
Okay, thank you all for your help. Very informational. Thank you.
Matt.
Hey, Bill, it's Carol again.
So-
I didn't raise my hand. Can I?
We'll
I
give you
want
the
to share
pass, Carol.
something.
Yeah, please.
I want to share something, and it's Laura and I kind of talked yesterday. I had a student who called me. She was in a signing, and she was not told that the couple that were signing were deaf and mute. And we didn't know what to do. And I'm like, what the heck? And they didn't tell her about this. So she's faced with this, and it was very difficult. And I called Laura and I said, what do you think about the advice that I gave to her? And she said, that's fine. But there is something called live transcripts. Yeah. Through your like Google store and stuff, the Play Store. And they never used to have anything like that. And I've dealt with people that were deaf, and it was very, very difficult signing, especially if they couldn't speak. So I just want everybody to know out there, if they run into this, go to your Google store or whatever, Apple store, wherever it is, and you can get something called live transcript. And what you do is you just speak into it, whether it be your tablet, your computer, whatever, as you're going through the signing, and every word that you say, they can read and respond to accordingly. And I thought that was great. And thank you, Laura.
Awesome.
Was it you or was it Beth? Oh, I'm sorry. It was
I think
Beth.
it's Beth. But that's okay. We did talk.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. Yeah, there's all kinds of unusual situations out there. Thanks for sharing that. Matt Miller, great to see you on today. What's happening?
Unmute, Matt.
Thanks, Laura. Happy New Year, guys. Good to see you. Everyone back. Happy birthday, Carol. I love those glasses. So I am here today with the California update. We've got a lot going on, guys, as we always do. But there's a couple of things in particular I wanted to talk about today. So give me 5 minutes to get everyone up to date. So as we know, Kamala Harris is going to be VP, and because of that, someone had to fill her seat in the Senate, and Governor Newsom has picked our current Secretary of State, Alex Padilla, to do that. So what that means is we have a new Secretary of State for 2021. Her name is Dr. Shirley Weber. She's an assemblywoman from the San Diego area, and she is a voting rights activist. And she will be California's first African-American woman Secretary of State. So congratulations, Dr. Shirley Weber. Now, nothing else changes for those of you that are currently commissioned. Just because your commission says Alex Padilla doesn't change anything. No laws have changed, and no positions of the Secretary's office have changed as of yet, although there's one big change I'm hoping for this year, which is we can get I-9s back. And that's a decision we can make at the Secretary's office and doesn't require legislative action. There's no active notary-related bills this session so far. I'm checking every single day, but nothing's been across the desk yet. And it's not likely anything will get across the desk this year because all assembly members and senators have been restricted to 12 bills only this year, which is considerably lower than the normal 50 bills per year. So only essential legislative items will be voted on this year. So don't look for any major changes in the notary world. And then last, which keeps coming up and is probably going to keep coming up, is application and reappointment times in California, which have slowed down to a glacieric crawl. And I have some explanation for that. I've had a conversation with Bill Downs, the Notary Division manager. And, you know, we as independent contractors that just keep on working, just keep chugging along, take a lot of things for granted, particularly when it comes to the office world. And so with the new safer at home order, Secretary of Office staff has been reduced to 25%. And on top of that, there is an enormous amount of demand for authentications of death certificates. So most resources are directed towards that right now. However, I have been assured that at least 1 or 2 clerks are working on applications as diligently as they can. So if you are expiring 3 to 6 months from now, like I am, you're probably going to experience a gap. If you're expiring 6 to 12 months from now, you need to get started today on your reappointment application process. And that is because, keep in mind, I was supposed to go to have a test tomorrow, but that was postponed a month because of the safer home orders. So now I'm February 6th. So I'm now a whole month behind. Plus, keep in mind, there's a 2 weeks waiting time from the time you test until your test results are released to the Secretary's of State office. And right now, as of today, they are processing test results dated October 2nd. So you're looking at a good 4 to 6 month processing time. And so I know I'm already going to have a gap. And those of you that are caught up in this, you know, my heart goes out to everyone, but these are extenuating circumstances and a whole different world we're living in. So that's why processing times are so slow and why we're not getting many answers from the Secretary's office is because their staff levels are so low right now. But that's pretty much the California update for now, guys. Otherwise, Happy New Year. Let's have a very bright, prosperous 2021. Let's hope it is as lucky as the number 21. And by this time in the fall, all of this stuff will be a distant memory. So thanks, guys. Good to see everyone. And again, Happy New Year.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Matt. That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Rosetta Easley. Thanks for being here. You want to unmute, tell us what state you're in and how we can help.
Hi, Bill and Ms. Carol and Flora. How are you? I am Rosetta Easley from Wilmington, Delaware.
All right.
And I'm actually a new notary. I received my commission, I think October, November. I haven't actually done anything with it yet. Bill, I just started your courses online. But my question is that I see here on the Delaware state website, it basically says because of COVID-19, it says at this time, Delaware does not permit remote notarizations by Delaware notaries. The general public can use notarize.com or any other provider that they may research and choose. So I'm kind of confused about that because basically this is something that I wanted to do as extra, income for my family. I'm home right now on disability. So it was my goal of wanting to do the remote online notarization at home. But if we're not able to do that in the state of Delaware, I don't know what else am I to do, because right now I'm studying for the loan signing service part of it. So I'm not ready to go out and do that as yet, especially being on disability. So I'm just asking for you guys to give me some input, some type of advice on what can I do to have this commission, make money for my family and not just sit there.
Yeah, interesting situation, Rosetta. So are you willing and able to go out and be a mobile notary, or were you only wanting to do the remote online notarization where you're sitting in front of a computer?
Well, doing that because of me being on disability at home.
Right.
I had total knee replacement surgery. I work at one of the emergency rooms here. So I'm not, back at work yet, but my goal was to do that while I was home. But now I see this and I don't see how I'm able to do anything with the commission other than getting out there, which I'm not ready to do as yet.
Yeah, to me, that sounds like the unfortunate part of this is the remote online notarization. Delaware is literally telling you, we cannot do it. You cannot be a Delaware notary and do remote online notarization. So you don't have any options there. The only option to use your commission would then be to actually be a notary public or a loan signing agent. I don't think there's going to be a workaround there unless you want to move states. So that's probably not what. Now, here was what I don't know if it makes you feel any better, but I'm sure, Ron is got momentum. And even if they don't have it approved right now, there's probably a good chance that it's coming relatively soon. That just might not help you right now. Laura, did you have any other perspective on this? It's
Not really. I think you hit it.
It's kind of black and white, unfortunately, Rosetta. Sorry about that.
And I think it's too, also because, especially with COVID-19 right now, with the pandemic, in my mind, you would think that this would be the way that a notary could make money, at home, being a notary public online, because of the pandemic. So I don't understand as to why Delaware has stopped us, the notaries here in Delaware, from doing this, but they are basically, Delaware is basically sending you to another website so that you can talk to someone else. Because when I set up I have a virtual business address, and for that particular form, I had to have the form notarized. So I went online to notarize.com, and I spoke to someone in Texas. I'm here in Delaware. That person answered my call. They were in Texas. This was at 10 o'clock at night. So, and that was a $25 fee for that person. So I'm saying that if here in Delaware, if I am a notary public, that would be income for me that I'm able to do here, especially during the pandemic. So I don't understand why Delaware has stopped us, has limited that to us.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't sound like it's fair or logical for sure, but what I will also offer you is that remote online notarization is highly complex. And what this pandemic has done is that some states have opened it up kind of willy-nilly. You got insecure Zoom and people piecing things together to do this, and it may not be the most secure from a privacy or security standpoint. So having counties and software and rules and regulations and staff to implement this it's pretty complex. So I'd imagine Delaware says, oh shoot, we're not ready to implement this. So they're probably just saying, hey, in many other, what are we up to? 20, 22 states now that have approved Ron all the way with legislation. So maybe they're just saying, okay, other notaries can take care of them now, then we'll figure it out. Or maybe we'll wait and see if there's going to be lawsuits or challenges in court and all that stuff before they actually implement it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, well, I guess I'll just continue with your course still until I'm ready to get out there and do the loan signing. And hopefully that Delaware will open this back up to us soon.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Keep me posted, Rosetta.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Debs at Debs Notary Signings. How's it going? You want to unmute? Tell us what state you're in and how we can help. Deb Notary Signings. All right, going once. We're going to move on to Maura Contreras from Illinois. Maura, thanks for being here. Want to unmute and tell us how we can help?
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy birthday, Carol. I'm from Illinois, and I'm new as well, so I can relate to several others who are here. I have a quick question, two actually. So first one is, I've already received my commission, ordered supplies. I have my E&O insurance. I'm an NNA member. I actually signed up to take your signing agent course. Does that include, I know it includes the exam, but does that also include, I think it's like an extra for background screening? Is that right?
So I think, so Sign and Thrive does not provide the certification. So you don't pay for the test through me. The test gets paid separately to the National Notary Association. And that $70 charge, which I think they've increased to $70, that does include your criminal background check or screening.
Okay, so that's the additional I have to do. So I did the Notary to Pro, which I haven't taken the signing agent course, but I have to do an additional, the test and then the the exam and then the background screening.
Through the NNA certification, that's correct.
Right.
And then if you're talking about Notary to Pro with Carol, then that does include her test, her certification as well. Right, Carol?
No, what we do is we tell our graduates once they graduate to go to the NNA, and for $70, they get the most recognized background screening. And by taking the test, which is, it's all based on the SPW Code of Conduct, and we help them with that if they don't know what it is. They pass that test, they're certified. So you end up with our certification, which is accepted nationally, NNA certification, which is accepted nationally, and the best background screening, which is the NNA.
Got it.
Is that clarify? Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And then just another quick question. So is it worth having, I've spent some time with actually creating a website. Is it worth, I guess, what's your view on, is it worth having a website and paying for and having that service and domain?
Great question. I'll jump in here on this one. So when it comes to a website, first of all, if you can do it affordably, there's no such thing as having too much exposure. So it will serve you no matter what. But the reality is, as a loan signing agent, if that's where all you're going to focus on are loan signings and not general notary work or specialty notary work, it's not going to be a source of revenue from you. Every now and then you might get a call or something from it. It's a good way to build branding, but it's not going to make your phone start ringing and dinging. However, if you're going to do specialty notary work, if you're going to work with the general public, people who are going to be Googling for your services, then absolutely a website, I would say, is critical to your success in specialty notary work.
Okay,
Does that help?
great. Yes, it does. And thank you again. I ditto everyone, keeps saying thank you. And I do appreciate both, your book. I have it on I'm still reading it, but it's on my desk there. Bill, and then Laura and Carol, thank you for everything.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here, Laura. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right, let's try Deb's. Deb's notary signing. Are you back yet?
Yeah, come on.
There you go.
I'm back.
All right.
I'm back. Sorry, my phone decided to act up a little bit. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Okay, I'm in Massachusetts, the western half of the state. And my question is, we were talking about the mileage question earlier in the webinar, and was wondering, because I cover a large area, I cover 3.5 counties. For the mileage, for tracking, can I just use when I use the GPS and have that as a log, as a proof of my mileage? Because that's the only thing I really use it for, is to get to figure out how to get to the homes.
Yeah, well, mileage is mileage. So whatever works for you, just make sure that you're documenting it somewhere else too, so it's easy for you to find. But yeah, I don't know of any rule against a GPS system. Do you, Laura, Carol, have you ever heard of that?
The only thing I know is that the IRS requires actual mileage. So for instance, if you mapped it out ahead of time and it said, oh, it's going to be 35 miles, but you actually did not take that route and you only went actually 32 miles, they're expecting you're reporting 32, not 35. So that's the only thing I would say.
Yeah, no, I usually follow the GPS because it's a lot of times it's a small towns that I'm not familiar with for shortcuts anyways.
Okay.
So, so I would definitely be taking that directly to that way and stuff. But I was wondering, because I can go in and take a snapshot of, in fact, I started doing that,
Else is
of
talking.
everything I've done this year. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Great question. Thanks, Deb.
Mhm.
And Lawanda Hood Craggett, it looks like we're coming up on the 2 o'clock hour, or the 1 hour after we started. So this might be our last question, guys. Lawanda, tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help. Lawanda, going once. Lawanda, you're unmuted. All you got to do is say something. Lawanda? Okay. We're going to mute you back and we'll move on. Delcy Winters, you are going to be our last question of the day.
Yay.
Hey, Delcy.
Hello,
I'm here.
Lawanda, we'll come back to you if we have time, okay? Sorry about that. Delcy
My
Winters.
question is in regard to business cards. When I do a signing, I haven't done my first yet, but when I do a signing, is it okay to go ahead and leave my personal business card?
So is it okay to leave your business card with your signers? That's a great question. And my perspective on it is yes, absolutely. It's a level of good service to do so, just in case, or in case they might need you down the road. There are some signing companies and some title companies that have explicit rules against it. So if that is the case and you get hired by a company with that, I encourage you to maintain integrity with your agreements and not do it then. But other than that, I do it quite frequently, almost every time. Laura, Carol, do you have a different perspective on that?
I agree. I can leave their cards with people because you never know what services they might need in the future. And also, if they have any questions about what they just did, signed, anything like that, they can reach out to you.
Yeah, definitely. Laura, what about you?
Nothing else to add. Yeah, if I'm asked, I leave my card.
I think that's a great question. And I think, guys, the way I look at it, we have two roles or two responsibilities at these appointments. And one is to expertly perform the duties that we have been paid to do. And number two is lay the foundation for a relationship that could last beyond this transaction. So, and I think part of us doing that is leaving your business card. Lawanda, we have, I'll give you just a couple minutes if you want to unmute and ask your question.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. My headphone was on mute. I'm sorry.
No problem.
I'm in Detroit, Michigan, as I was saying, and my question is for well, not new notaries, but for new signing agents. I want to specialize in remote notaries here in Michigan,
Mhm.
and my first question is, how do I go about finding a platform that goes state to state?
Great
And if you
question.
guys have any recommendations.
That's an excellent question, and I'll do my best to answer it here briefly, Lawanda. Number one, if your state allows for remote online notarization, they may very well have a list of approved vendors or platforms that you can use. If they don't have a list of approved platforms, they might have a list of what needs to be, what that platform has to have in order to work for you. So the most important component of this, when you're choosing a platform, is to choose one that allows you to be an independent notary, meaning that you can bring your own customers to that platform. No matter what state they're in, you can process them while your feet are planted in Michigan doing the remote online notarization. Two of the most popular platforms for that are Doc Verify and SignIX, although there's a lot more emerging right now, so there might be more of those. So you can do a little bit of research that way. And then if you really want to market and promote, and that's really what you want to do, you want to do these remote online notarizations for loan signings, for general notary work, the key is to build relationships with title and lenders that are actively embracing that. And it will surprise you that there's a lot more that are not than are. It's actually harder to build those relationships because the industry isn't really ready for it on the mainstream. But if you want to go general notary work, it's really booming in general notary work. And in order to compete with the big boys there, search engine optimization is the way to do it. Because people are just jumping on Google and saying online notary or remote notary or notary online, all those various keywords. And with search engine optimization, you actually have the potential to compete with all these bigger companies that are doing that, if that's where you want to go.
Thank you. And that was going to be my next question. How do I market myself for
Yep.
just specifically for online notaries?
Yeah, that's exactly how.
Bill,
Yeah, Carol?
before we get off, I want to kind of ring a little bell for everybody. I think that, and I find this in not just my new students, but our graduates, that something that a lot of people forget because we do it so often when we take those driver's licenses, that identification, that we write down the information, we glance at it, we write down the information, we give them back their ID. I want to remind people how important it is to hold that ID, to look at both the front and the back of that ID, to compare their all of the information on there. Are they 5'4" or are they 6 foot tall? Do they have brown hair or blonde hair? It's very important because there's a lot of stuff going on now, especially with bad IDs. So it's extremely important that we all remember our basic duty, and that is to properly identify people.
That is a great way to close us out, going right back to basics. And guys, it's especially during the pandemic when everybody's wearing masks, that is a really easy thing to forget, especially because people are staring at you while you're writing stuff in the journal. You kind of feel this internal panic over it and you tend to skip over there, even if it's accidental. So that's a great reminder. Thank you for that, Carol. And Carol, thank you so much for hanging out with us on your birthday. We really appreciate you. We love
My
you.
pleasure.
Being here. Laura, thank you so much for being here, of course. We are back to full schedule, guys. So every Tuesday, and I'll just say this too, next Tuesday, we have Judy Lawrence from the Lawrence Institute. She's the one that has that apostees training course that we keep talking about. So she's going to be a special guest for us next week. So definitely tune in then. And until then, have a great week.